It was an interesting time when we were in Vietnam. My name is Ronald Edward Vachon. I'm 82 years old, and I was in Vietnam from 65 through 67, a total of 360 days. Like everyone, my Uncle Sam sent me a nice letter saying, "Greetings. We'd like you to come and join us in the United States Army." A lot of people were being drafted at the time, so it didn't strike me as fearful or anything else. I just was, okay, now I'm drafted. Let's see what transpires. Close to the end of basic training, you have an interview with a sergeant, and he decides what branch of the Army you're going to be in. And he looked at my background and said, "Oh, I see you're a police officer." I says, "Yes, I am." I had a feeling, he said, "Oh, he's a police officer. I'll see whether he's going to give me attitude." And since I did it and had no problems doing it, he says, as soon as I sat down, he said, "How would you like to become a military police officer?" In Vietnam, I was stationed in the Northern Highlands in a small town called Con Tum. It was good. Everybody got along. We even had Air Force personnel there. There was us military police and the regular soldiers. And we had nice barracks that were kept up well by what we called hooch maids, and which made our beds. It sounds rough, right? We weren't made aware going into country about these people. When the French occupied that part of Vietnam, they gave them the name Montagnard, it means mountain people. They were the very first indigenous people of Vietnam. They were very honest, hardworking people, and they were living the way they did hundreds of years ago. The men wore loincloths. The women wore skirts that were made of cloth that they wove themselves. Once we got to know a few of them, we were invited to their village. So we went to the village, and the village is like a little subdivision of thatched huts that were raised on 6-foot pillars. And to enter the hut, you had to go up. They would take a log and cut steps in it, and you would go up the steps and go in, and that's how you would enter their hut. And the reason for that is at night, they would pull the logs into their huts so that they didn't have to worry about predatory animals. Well, I'll tell you about predatory animals. I was working the main gate at our compound when I saw some Montagnards coming down the road. And they're typical 2 men in their loincloths. Between them, they had a pole on their shoulders. And hanging from the pole was a tiger. Now, I would consider that a predatory animal. One time, we were requested to go out to an orphanage that was on the outskirts of the town that we used to patrol to deliver some paperwork. Once we delivered the paperwork, we started heading back to our base. All of a sudden, our Jeep stalled. I got out to see what we could do about getting the motor to run again. As we were working on the vehicle, all of a sudden, we noticed a lantern coming our way. Lantern? What? So we looked at our police officer, a Vietnamese police officer that we had to transport in our vehicles at the time. And he had his weapon out and was shaking. So I started working on the engine some more, and another lantern. And then some more work on the engine and another lantern. So finally the engine started, We jumped in the Jeep, didn't even put the hood down, and went back to our base quickly. There was a lot of demonstrations against the war in Vietnam. So we weren't greeted as heroes. We were not greeted at all. And it was kind of a sad thing. It wasn't until probably 15 years later, when we were considered veterans, that people would say, "Thank you for your service." Now, the first time I heard that, it's still emotional to me. So at that time, we got nothing for our duty.